You'll never guess. A man opens his father's legacy, but it's a frozen penguin, and he puts the penguin on the sofa. Turning around after a phone call, the penguin is gone. It's a live penguin. It's a gift from the penguin. It's a big legacy. In a hurry to get to work, he threw the penguin into the bath, filled it with ice, and left in a hurry. He bumped into the box with the penguins. The letters his father had left him, hidden under the table too, but he didn't know. This penguin is from Madagascar. The penguin makes a little jump, and turned on the tap, and took a shower. The water in the bath is gradually overflowing. The penguin swims around happily in the water. The man doesn't know yet what he is going to face next. The boss asks him to buy a tavern. He finds the owner of the tavern and gives him a hard time, but the old lady tells Ken she'll only sell land to people with feelings. These days, you need emotion to do business. Ken's wooing fails. When Ken returns home, opening the bathroom door, he was swept away by the water. Almost swept to the first floor. He managed to grab the second floor. You'd think that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. The next day, the penguins woke up again. The next day he was woken up by penguins. Ken was tortured. It's been a long time coming. Another box of Dad's legacy arrives. This time it was 5 penguins. Ken's house is now a penguin colony. He had just finished contacting the zoo. His ex-wife arrives with the kids. It was his son's birthday. He saw a room full of penguins, thinking it was a birthday present for him. His son was overjoyed. Even his daughter, who had been distant from him, smiled at him too. The children were happy to play with the penguins. To make his son happy, he simply made a mistake. He kept the penguins straight away. Ken ate with the penguins, helped them with their poop and pee. He even taught the penguins how to dance in the street, to help the penguins get used to their home environment, leaving the windows open on snowy days, making the house colder than outside, playing football with the penguins outside, even got her daughter to join in, and got her head blown off by a ball with the penguins. His relationship with his children is getting better and better. One day Ken had to go and meet a client, so he got a nanny to look after the penguin, watching TV in peace and quiet. Is it still the Madagascar penguin? The penguins first scare the nanny en masse. The nanny opens the door and runs away, and then they walk out of the house in perfect order, through the lobby of the flat, following Ken scent all the way, through the streets and alleys to find Ken, and they find the party. Ken was still there, trying to persuade the old lady to sell her house, only to see a group of penguins approaching. It looked like the same ones from home. Ken rushed to invite the old lady downstairs to dance, trying to get away from the penguins, but the penguins were chasing Ken. They accidentally knocked over a bucket of water. They got on the slide, and they went on the slide, straight into the ballroom. The penguins make a mess of the place, and that's when the penguins see Ken. They chase him out of the room. This time the penguins have messed up again, and Ken knew the penguins needed him, and it wasn't long before Ken found out that 3 penguins had laid eggs. It was an amazing feeling. Ken couldn't resist sharing this happy moment with his family. To share this happy moment with his family, Ken took his ex-wife to the bistro. His wife saw how scared he was of the window seat, so she asked Ken what was wrong. Ken told his wife, the table over there by the window. There was a lot of his memories there, but he had been afraid to sit there. Ken thought there was something wrong with his mind, so this time he was going to give up his job. And focus on hatching eggs with the penguins. His ex-wife was amazed that after 15 years of marriage, it was the first time Ken had ever told her this. Under Ken's careful care, 2 penguin eggs hatched into chicks. The children were there to witness. This was a miraculous moment, but there was still 1 egg that hadn't hatched yet. Ken began to take extra care of it, keeping an eye on the egg during the day, and sleeps with it at night, building a small shed on the rooftop to create a better hatching environment, even casting spells on it, praying that the baby penguin would be born soon. The boss came to see him. He told him to get back to work. Ken said there were things he couldn't miss. He refused his boss's order straight away, but it didn't work out that way. The little penguin didn't make it. The zookeeper told Ken that penguins are very unsuitable for his home. This is counterintuitive. It would have been more harmful to the penguins. More harm could be done to the penguins. Ken didn't say anything. He allowed them to take the penguins away, and he was back to being the strong man in the workplace. But the family thinks Ken is too heartless. The relationship that had been so hard to rebuild collapsed again, until the key falls under the cupboard. Ken finds a letter from his father. In the letter, his father says, penguins are the most intelligent species he has ever met. Once they fall in love with you, they never leave. His father felt regret. He hadn't given Ken the best of company. Ken had a real insight. He couldn't hurt his family anymore, so he immediately took the children to the zoo, only to arrive at the penguin house. It wasn't their penguins that were being held here. He went to the caretaker and asked for the penguins, but he refused to give it back to Ken, and he was already planning to sell the expensive penguin. Ken suddenly heard the penguins calling. Looking into the warehouse next to him, he opens the door and the penguins are inside. When the caretaker saw that Ken had found the penguin, runs to the warehouse, trying to lure the penguin back into the warehouse with sardines, but Ken locked him in by hand. Ken and his family put on masks. They pretended to be from the CDC with their ID cards. Passers-by give way, but as they passed the toy house, one of the penguins got tangled in a rope, pulling and tugging and rolling a few times, carrying a paraglider, and was chased by the staff. On the other hand, Ken didn't notice. One of the penguins is missing. Sends a message to the secretary at the door. The secretary immediately understands. He collapses in the corner to distract passers-by. The family walk around the penguins, but the head gardener eventually caught up with them. Ken screams and runs. The family ran out of the zoo, closing the door behind them. Ken declared victory, but the head gardener said, "Aren't you forgetting something?" Ken looks up and sees a penguin is chased to the roof. The penguin jumps forward. It lands straight on the ground. Ken saw that this was the end, but the penguin flies up, straight to the ground, as he rushes back to the old lady's press conference. After a bit of bullshit, the old lady still said she wasn't selling her house. That's when the caretaker burst in. He accused Ken of selling the stolen penguins. That's what happens when a thief cries foul. Ken said the penguins were his. It was his father's last gift to him. Between his family and the penguins had formed an inseparable bond, but the keeper didn't believe believe him, saying that if it was a choice between love and sardines, the penguin would choose the latter. At this point he took the sardines out of his pocket. Ken is standing opposite him. It was then the penguin's turn to choose. The penguins hesitated for a moment and then went to Ken. There is a round of applause. The penguin's choice. Ken's words are confirmed to be true, and the police take the rowdy steward away. Eventually, the old lady was impressed by Ken, and decided to sell the tavern to him, but instead of destroying the tavern, instead, he kept it open. The table by the window became the place where the family met. Ken sent the penguins back to Antarctica anyway, where they have their family and friends, to be with each other forever.